So the other day I was meeting with a colleague of mine who is also a coach, and we're working on a project together. And while we were catching up at the beginning of our conversation, we were talking about our businesses and the success that we're having and the direction that we're going in and how we want to raise our fees and more or less the approach that we were taking with everything. And I got a breakthrough in that conversation that I wanted to share with you that I thought would be helpful. And there's this difference between being reactive and proactive. And then there's also the difference between mentality and action. So mentality, of course, is what's going on up here in our brain, the thoughts and ideas that we have, and more or less just what's kind of going on in our head, and logic. And then action. So that's an action that we take. It's something that we do. It's taking a step forward. So, but the thing is okay, so we can have a reactive action. So the action that we take is in reaction to something else, that something else triggered me, and therefore now I'm taking the action. Or I can also have reactive mentality. So based on what's coming at me, I now have a thought about it, or an emotional life, an experience around it. Then there's proactive mentality and proactive action. So proactive mentality is I come up with an idea and I'm being intentional in my mindset. And then proactive action is I'm being intentional in the action that I'm going to take. So what I realized in my conversation with him is, my business has been growing and it's going great, but I feel like it's a little slow. And I wish it was going a little bit faster. Although there's also the thought process of, we're given that which we can handle. So in some regards, I'm glad I'm not too overwhelmed, because sometimes I see and coach other businesses that are going through a huge growth spurt and they're growing too fast and they're having a hard time keeping up with it. And they're hiring a lot of employees, and it's just it can be fine for a little while, but then the bubble's going to burst and things can implode and people can become unhappy, and then before they know it, they're losing employees, and then they can start losing business because customers aren't happy. So it's important that when we go through growth, we recognize the pace at which we're growing and our comfort level with it. So in reference to the growth that I've been experiencing in my business, what he made me realize is that I've been thinking to myself, well, I'm being proactive. I'm taking all these actions and helping my business grow and to bring in more clients and work on some projects and offer more services. But how was I getting in my own way? And what I recognized is I had a reactive mentality, not a proactive one. So my mental state and my mind and the thoughts I was having about what I was doing was coming from the past. And it was things that I'm reacting to from where I've already been instead of where I'm going. So I hope that makes sense to you. So here's a little chart I drew, okay? So there's reactive, proactive mentality and action. So hopefully you can see that. And this is where you want to be. You want to be in this zone. You want to make sure that you're being proactive in your mentality and in the actions that you're taking. So if you start to recognize that you're being reactive at all and where you're coming from, is it something from the past? Is it place that you've already been and that you're trying to get away from that or fix it or change it? Or are you moving in a particular direction because it inspires you and it's what you want to achieve, and you can get your mental state and your physical state of action in alignment with it. My name is Alanna Levenson with I Love My Life Coaching, and I look forward to talking with you next time.